Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Hey, let me start with Alvin Kamara. I know the report from Jeremy Fowler, I'm sure others have had it, though, that he's looking for a restructured deal. I don't blame him at all. Should the Saints work to restructure Alvin Kamara's deal?
Man, those are two different things, right? It makes perfect sense. Alvin Kamara is currently, he's technically going to be a free agent next year. He has a year on his deal, but they're going to tear it up because it was a big balloon payment. So he's currently scheduled to become a free agent NFL running back next year when he's about to turn 30 years old. And that is not a good place to be. Running backs don't get paid. Other than Christian McCaffrey, who's been an exception to the rule. Dalvin Cook is a member of his same draft class, is still unsigned right now. Other guys have been getting a lot less money. We've seen it. Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, all these guys. So, yeah, he'd like some security. He's super important to the team right now. He's got some leverage now. It totally makes sense for him to use it. Now, should the Saints re-up? That's a tough question. Alvin Kamara is an exception to any rule. He's the best running back in franchise history, probably. He's the all-time touchdown leader, the all-time yards from scrimmage leader. He's still valuable to the passing game as well as the run game. He should have a bounce-back season in this new offense. But they've got cap issues, and they've been saving money left and right. So is a 30-year-old running back what you want to be committing future money to? It's tough. If it were up to them, I think they would not want to, that they would want to play out this season and not make that decision until next year. But if he's going to force the issue, I don't know what they're going to do. They've come up with some creative solutions to extend Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan in recent years. I'm sure they're going to try, but will it be enough? There's no easy answer here, Matt.
So I'm very clear that there's absolutely no shot they should give him any assurances beyond this year. What creative solution could be out there, Mike?
Yeah, it's one of those, the average value of the deal goes down from the $11.8 million he's due to make this year, but he gets some guarantees that he's going to get paid next year. And I would guess he would probably want guarantees that he's going to get paid into the next year. So another 12, another 14, another 16 in an extension, so he knows he's not going to be left high and dry, I imagine, is what it would take. Now, they could play hardball, and I think he would show up. He would lose a ton of money if he held out of training camp. They have big fines in there for veterans now, and if he doesn't prove to the NFL that he's he needs to have a good year to make money if he's going to be a free agent next year. So, they could win if they played hardball, I think, but, he's a very valuable part of what they want to do this year. So, you'd like to figure out how you can make him happy, but I don't know how you can make him happy without guaranteeing at least, another $12 or $14 million.
So, Mike, just one more follow-up here. I think this is the second time you mentioned how valuable Kamara is to what they want to do this year. Is he really?
Yeah. I think they drafted Kendre Miller with the hope that he would be the next guy, and I think they signed Jamal Williams in free agency with the hope that he would be a solid fallback option, and they both had down years, and neither one has stepped up and shown that they can be the lead guy. And not to mention, they're a little thin on pass catchers beyond Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, and now Juwan Johnson's hurt. I'm penciling in Alvin Kamara for 75 catches in this offense and being the lead running back in this offense. Not having him would hurt.
That's fair. It's just an interesting conversation to have about Kamara that, 24 months ago it would seem like an absolute that you'd be extending Alvin Kamara, but it feels like
his production has gone down noticeably in each of the last 3 years, and along with how running backs age, but a lot of that has also been because this running offense has been awful. While Alvin was averaging a career low 3.7 yards per carry, Jamal Williams was averaging 2.9. So the running offense stunk. It wasn't just Alvin declining.
He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. I'm glad you brought up Juwan Johnson as well. What What update can you give us on the foot? Like, we know there's surgery, but what do we know about it and how long this is going to linger? At least best guess right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry had one that nobody seemed too concerned about, that they found out about at the Combine, which is late February, and he was back on the field in late June. So March, April, May, June. But, I've never heard anyone say 4 months for Juwan Johnson or anything like that. But, I don't know how you have a foot surgery and you're back in 6 weeks or anything like that. I think he's probably going to miss almost all of training camp, and week 1 is going to be an optimistic goal, is my guess. But I do not know the exact nature of the surgery he had. So that is me just trying to piece some reporting / history of foot injuries together to come up with that kind of timetable.
I'm interested, Mike, too, because even before Juwan Johnson's injury, one of the things, and I'm guessing, like I think a lot of people are, as to what this offense is going to look like based on the sample size we have of Clint Kubiak and where he's been. And I don't see tight ends in his offense that look like Taysom Hill and Juwan Johnson. So does Juwan Johnson really have a role as a tight end in this offense anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the different branches of the Shanahan and Kubiak trees show you that it's different based on situation. If you have George Kittle, then a tight end has a role in your offense. Houston went and did an offshoot of it, and Dalton Schultz was fairly important to them. So, on the flip side, Miami went and they didn't know what to do with Mike Gesicki, and they shipped him out of there. So, I don't think you can say for sure, but I know you can say that this is an offense that doesn't have a lot of contested pass catchers, a lot of guys who work the middle of the field. They no longer have Michael Thomas. They didn't sign anyone who really fills that void. If, they don't have backups who are going to fill that void. So, Juwan Johnson was healthy and back on the track that he appeared to be on heading into last year. I think they would find a very important role for him. But I do agree with you that, he was one of the bigger question marks even before the injury.
They signed Jesper Horsted. Is this just a camp body to replace Juwan Johnson, or is this a guy that could actually make the team?
I mean, he could theoretically make the team because you need, tight ends. You need a backup tight end who can block if Foster Moore goes down or whatever, and he's played a ton of special teams over his career, but he's not, I think you can count on two hands the amount of passes he's caught in his career. So he's been mostly a special teamer and maybe come in for some blocking snaps type of guy.
A couple more minutes here, Mike Triplett, neworleans.football. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Did you learn anything about the team during the 3 days of mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, a little bit. Minicamp as opposed to OTAs? Or
both. Yeah, get both.
Together. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But I like the buy-in of this offense. I mean, we talked probably for the last 2 years on this show just about how badly this offense needed a refresh. And it seems like all the solutions that they're coming up with, every time you talk to these coaches, and not just Clint Kubiak, but also Andrew Janocko and Rick Dennison and John Benton, there's such common sense solutions to, hey, this works, this wasn't working, this, and then when you talk to the players, even Alvin Kamara, who is holding out for a new contract, he's enthusiastically talking about how change is good and he thinks it's going to be a good change. The offensive linemen are obviously embracing it. Jamal Williams is embracing it. Derek Carr is embracing it. I mean, it just feels like everything they're talking about doing to fix this offense is such a, I liked when Alvin Kamara, the word he used was intentional. Everything they're doing is very intentional. They're ripping up this old playbook that had been morphed and morphed and morphed over the years with Drew Brees at quarterback, and they're starting with one from the ground up that makes sense to everyone. That's all positive. I mean, all the question marks we have about this team still remain on the offensive line. We don't know if Chase Young's going to be what he's going to look like because we knew he was going to miss this section of time and everything. So we still have a ton of question marks about this team, but the number one reason for optimism is what they're doing with this offense.
Okay, so last thing, as they go into the summer or deeper into the summer before camp, what do we anticipate, Mike, when they do report and they open camp in July? What are going to be the biggest questions as you're filling out, here's your camp storylines to watch? What do you think those are right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's the same as it was going into OTAs. Who's going to play on the offensive line? Is Trevor Penning going to actually have the light bulb come on and be able to lock down that job? Nick Saldivari ready for the other starting job? Is Taliasa Puaga ready for the other one? We were already penciling him in as one of the three kind of known commodities. I mean, that is absolutely number one. How quickly can they pick up the new offense and not have any hiccups with it? You know, it's been pretty positive. And then the defensive line is a question mark for me. I feel great about the secondary. I feel great about the linebacking situation right now. But yeah, I mean, is Chase Young going to be a real factor on this team and make you feel a little bit better about their depth there? But yeah, that's probably those in order. Backup quarterback job we'll write about every day, but then hopefully those guys don't play at all.
Mike, I may disagree with you. I may hope to see those backup quarterbacks all season long. I am looking to play a long game here because I know the short game with Derek Carr, where that's headed. But all things that you and I will be able to discuss.
You must have liked their approach to the offseason then, right? Because they actually, for the first time in a long time, showed some long game sensibilities, right?
Well, they'll have a much better opportunity to prove it with Kamara because they did not do that in the restructure of Derek Carr. I would have liked for them to basically play this season out and then make that decision after. But I did like obviously drafting Spencer Rattler because. I mean, you got to keep buying lottery tickets, man. If you ain't going to use one in the first round, just keep buying lottery tickets till you maybe hit one of them scratch-offs, man. But such is life with the Saints right now, I suppose. All right, neworleans.football. Follow there, of course, on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.